She texted, "I need the apartment. Girls only." I let her have it, lease and all. I signed the transfer, packed my tools, and took the coffee machine. When the bills arrived with her name, so did reality. I upgraded to quiet. She upgraded to responsibility. Thursday morning in Denver, I'm measuring beans on the little digital scale. 18 grams, V60, water at 93 degrees Celsius. When Ashley breezes past in a towel and says, "I need the apartment this weekend. Girls, spa, no guys." Not a request. She kisses air over my shoulder like she's tasting the crema and adds, "You'll be a peach and stay at your brother's, right?" I watch the kettle start its thin whistle and say nothing. Her robe sash whips once and she's in the bedroom humming along to some breakup playlist steeped in self-love affirmations. By lunch, she posts a story. A boomerang of 4 flutes clinking over a manicure table, captioned, "If you're a real adult. Give space, nail polish medium skin tone sparkles." Her friends flood my DMs with subtweets that aren't subtweets. "Let her breathe." Clyinging. Yikes, control issues. I scroll, set the phone face down, and return to my spreadsheet, the one with my 2025 Q4 bids highlighted in green, deadlines in red. I'm an electrical estimator. I quantify wire runs and conduit, not vibes. But even there, in conduit fill tables, I can feel a pressure building. At her coworker's Thursday happy hour, some warehouse taproom with Edison bulbs and cornhole, she raises a glass and toasts, "To freedom from control freaks," then winks in my direction. People laugh like they've rehearsed their parts. Phones rise. A guy I've never met points his camera at me, fishing for a flinch. I sip my seltzer. I'm the landlord, technically. The lease is in my name. I bought the condo 2 years before I met her. She moved in 14 months ago with 3 suitcases and a gold Monstera she promptly named Mr. Leo. We split utilities. I pay the mortgage. We split dinner. I pay for the parking spot. I've learned that fairness is the story people tell after they've taken what they wanted. Back at home, she does a walkthrough of her weekend like a stage manager. "Face masks, Netflix, a charcuterie sitch," she says, sweeping a hand at my walnut coffee table. "Maybe a vibe board night. No big." She flicks the dimmer I installed last winter and decides the temperature of the living room. She doesn't ask, she assigns. "You'll stay at Eric's. Couple nights. Be a mensch." She giggles. I file the word assigns like a label on a breaker. "Sure." I tell her. "Have fun." That's the part everyone will screenshot later. My calm yes. But a yes can be a container. What you pour into it matters. Inside, the worry buzzes like a transformer under load. It's not the weekend. It's the pattern. No guys means no me in my own home, while she performs independence to an audience. The last 4 months have been a parade of lines I'm supposed to cross and thank her for the privilege. She borrowed my garage fob for her Pilates coach. She reorganized my tool chest into Pinterest chaos. She told her friends, "We bought the couch I paid for with a cashier's check." When I mentioned the check, she said, "What's yours is ours, babe." Modern love. I'm not possessive. I am precise. There's a difference you can prove with documents. On my desk is a fireproof folder, purchase agreement, title policy, HOA bylaws, a spreadsheet of serial numbers, DeWalt impact driver, Fluke multimeter, my CB750's VIN scribbled on a post-it. When I feel soft pressure morph into a shove, I go to paper. That night, she FaceTimes from a bathroom flooded with ring light. "Babe, promise you won't be weird about the weekend?" Eyelash curler held like a surgical tool. "Swear it's just face masks and Netflix." "Understood," I say. "Have your weekend." She beams, satisfied with the obedience more than the sentence. "Ugh. Thank you. Growth." She blows a kiss. Then, "Oh, and could you do me a solid and leave your key fob? The girls want to park in the garage. Street's a nightmare. Text me your plate numbers," I say, and end the call. I set my fob beside my wallet, then slide it back into my pocket. I'm not dramatic. I'm deliberate. The fob is a gate. Gates define property. Property defines responsibility. At 2 a.m., I'm still awake. staring at the ceiling fan blades rotate to their soft mechanical chant. I open notes and title a new page, Weekend Plan. I list, remove my grandfather's Omega from the valet tray, lock the Pelican case with the passports, photograph every room with timestamps, pull the spare key from the magnetic box under the mailbox slot, inventory bar cart. She has a habit of hosting free pours. I add, verify guest policy in HOA rules, confirm noise quiet hours, hide the title to the CB750 under the breaker panel's dead front. It takes 12 minutes and a focus calm. When I'm done, my breathing slows. Friday, 7:12 a.m. She texts, ladies are pumped. Thank you for being chill. A heart, a champagne emoji, 3 sparkles. I respond with a thumbs up. I schedule a grocery delivery for myself to Eric's place. Eggs, rye bread, coffee, the small jar of pesto he likes, so I'm not a burden. I leave my condo at 8:03 with a backpack and a folder under my arm. Before I go, I stand in the doorway and say aloud, have your space. Then I lock the door, test the knob, and take one last photo of the living room. Mr. Leo, the walnut table, the dimmer at 40%. My home, my yes, my plan. At 11:12 p.m., my phone lights the dark like a weld arc unknown number. Can't wait for tomorrow. Got your favorite wine and candles. Gonna be romantic. A minute later, Ash, that lingerie fire. Worth every penny. Signature, Tyler. The gay best friend. The one who is basically a sister. Then, oh sorry Mark. Sent by mistake. Don't say anything, she'll kill me. I stare at the bubbles where a follow-up might appear. Nothing else arrives. Cold clarity does. I screenshot, then screen record the thread to capture contact details and timestamp. I export both to files, add them to the weekend plan note, and label 23:12 Mountain Standard Time. I don't respond. Phones are loud. Paper is louder. I toggle to Instagram. Ashley's stories show sheet masks, stemless glasses, cut fruit on my walnut board. Caption, girls only. I pause a frame and pinch to zoom. In the curve of a wine glass, a small reflection. A square-shouldered watch face with a green dial and oyster bracelet. Tyler bragged about that watch at the company picnic. Limited edition. 1 per store. My little splurge. Same dial, same gloss. I feel the blood drop a floor. No blow-up. Consequences. I save the story with the system share, then copy the link to my note, because posts vanish but URLs leave breadcrumbs. I grab a microfiber cloth, wipe my screen, breathe. Every step must be clean. Next, I spin up a burner, Denver Wireman, 2 posts, a plant and a cappuccino, both scraped from a royalty-free site, so the grid looks human. I follow Tyler and Ashley's circle. Tyler's public story shows a chill angle of my couch, the channel-tufted blue one I paid cash for, plus our throw in frame. He's geotagged our neighborhood and added 2 candle emojis. The background reveals my dimmer at 40% and the brass floor lamp I rewired. It's my living room, present tense. I text my brother, Eric, change of plan. I may swing back in morning to pick up the bike title. Don't call. He replies with a thumbs up and a skull. He's a firefighter. He understands triage. Stabilize, document, decide. I reopen my fireproof folder on the kitchen island at Eric's place. Insert fresh printouts. HOA guest policy, noise rules, quiet hours 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., and a copy of the lease addendum where she's listed as an occupant, not a tenant. I highlight the lines in yellow. I email the HOA manager at 23:34. Subject, courtesy heads up weekend guests. I state I'll be away, that my authorized occupants must comply with guest limits, no more than 2 non-residents after 10, and I request security to note any noise calls. I attach my owner's certificate. I'm not tattling. I'm laying track. 5 minutes later, the auto-reply pings with a ticket number. Then I log into the garage gate portal and remove temporary access. Guest, Ashley Friends, from the whitelist. I leave her PIN active to avoid a lockout claim, but I revoke temporary plates. If she wants a parade, it will occur on public street parking, not in a deeded spot the mortgage company can measure. I changed the guest Wi-Fi password to something long and neutral. Quiet hours 10 to 7. Petty would be turning off the main network. Precise is reminding the house of its rules. I open my item inventory. I add AirTags to 2 things that travel. The Pelican case with passports, now locked in Eric's closet, and the CB750 key ring. For the garage fob, I photograph its serial and tuck it into the safe. I confirm my Ring doorbell's angle catches the hallway and the unit door, but nothing inside where guests could claim intrusion. If someone hauls a case of wine into 5B at 2 a.m., the timestamp will be crisp. At 0:06, Tyler posts another story. A quick pan over a cheese board on my walnut coffee table. The camera dips. I freeze the frame. A gift bag peeks out from under the table, tissue paper black. Brand name in silver I've seen on lingerie boxes. I save the clip. I don't send it to anyone. I'm not building a group chat. I'm building a file. I consider calling Ashley. I don't. She asked for space and no guys. And I intend to comply with the exactness of a circuit diagram. Space means I won't be there to embarrass her. Space also means her guests will be bound by the same papers that bind me. If a boundary needs enforcing, the building will knock before I do. I set 2 alarms. One for 7:30 to swing by storage and grab a banker's box for anything fragile left in the condo. One for 9:15 to call my insurance agent, confirm scheduled property riders, and ask, hypothetically, what happens if an authorized occupant hosts a party that results in loss? I compose the email in drafts so it's timestamped. I add a line to my note. No drama. Just documents, rules, and doors that close. I spent an hour cross-referencing our texts with my calendar. Girls' night crescent moon. Ty needs a shoulder. Spa recharge. Boulder Day trip with the team. They line up like conduit saddles. Every other Friday, plus end-of-month Saturdays. Receipts echo the rhythm. DoorDash to my address when I was at Eric's. Lyft pickups from our garage at 2:18 a.m. And 1 Venmo from Tyler to Ashley memo candles plus cams. 2 flame emojis. I export the data into a sheet. Columns. Date, claim, activity, proof. I'm not accusing. I'm inventorying. At 9:05, I open the lease folder. My name. Only tenant. Ashley. Approved occupant. I remember the email from last year when she moved in. Management refused to add her as co-tenant without a full application, income verification, and a separate deposit. She called it demeaning. I paid the extra pet fee for her cat anyway. The document doesn't care about feelings. It says I hold the rights and the duties, and that I may request a transfer or terminate with 30 days notice. There's even a clause about unauthorized subletting. I flag it. Instead of changing locks and inviting a fight about control, I choose clean architecture. Let the paper make her independent like she keeps posting. Saturday, 10:14. Subject line, lease transfer request. I write to the landlord and CC the building manager. I'd like to transfer the lease to Ashley effective Monday, pending her standard application. I will vacate and surrender keys to management. Happy to cooperate on inspection. He replies at 10:27 with 2 words. Sounds great. Less paperwork for them. No loss of occupancy. Rent keeps flowing. He attaches Form LT 2025. Assignment/transfer. I print, sign the assignor lines, and initial the section stating I remain liable only until acceptance of the assignee. I do not fill her parts. I'm not forging independence. I'm offering it. In the portal, I schedule a move-out inspection for me, Sunday 18:30. In a separate ticket, I request lock cylinder replacement for security prior to transfer, citing a misplaced guest fob during a party. True enough given the weekend circus. They approve a locksmith visit as a billable maintenance item to the current account holder. Me, for now, clean. While Denver does its bright cold afternoon, I load my vintage Stanley tool chest into Eric's Tacoma. Sockets, torque wrench, fluke multimeter wrapped in a shop towel, the orange electrical lockout kit, and the brass-bound block plane my dad tuned for me. I unplug my espresso machine, the Linea Mini that has paid for itself in mornings, and pull the water tank. I leave her the drip coffee maker she prefers because the fancy one stresses me out. I take the burr grinder. I'm not punitive. I'm precise. Before the locksmith arrives Sunday 1840, I walk the apartment with my phone on 4K. Closet, dresser, liquor cabinet, bedroom safe, empty of my items. Photo of Mr. Leo because even a plant can become evidence. I pull the spare key from the magnetic box under the mailbox, photograph its retrieval, and hand both my keys to the locksmith while I observe. He replaces cylinders, issues 2 new keys in sealed envelopes marked owner/management. No drama, just chain of custody. At 1910, I drop the keys at the management office drop safe with the form that says, replacing cylinders prior to transfer. I also place a separate envelope addressed to Ashley containing a copy of the application link, a checklist, income 3x rent, ID, pet records, and a sticky note. Per your request for space and independence, here's the path. M. The front desk timestamps it. I photograph the stamp. Monday 8:02. I email utilities from a coffee shop. Please transfer service to new resident effective the 1st. Final bill in my name through the 30th. I attach the lease transfer request. Electricity replies fast. Gas slower. The HOA already has my heads up on guests. Now they get a note that I'm vacating with the effective date. I forward my renter's insurance agent the same packet, asking to shift scheduled items to my brother's address and to remove liability coverage for 5B after midnight on the 30th. The subject line is boring on purpose. I also write Ashley's parents a 3-sentence email, courteous, neutral. I'll be vacating per Ashley's preference for space. Management will contact her to complete the lease transfer. Utilities will follow. I will not be entering the unit without notice. I attach nothing because they are not parties, but I BCC myself for the file. At noon, the landlord calls. She hasn't applied yet, he says, cheerful. We'll nudge. I thank him and confirm that until acceptance, I still hold legal responsibility, so I'll keep paying and keep documentation tight. He chuckles. You're the most organized breakup I've seen. By 14:45, Ashley texts, what is this email from management? Are you kidding me? I reply, you asked for space. This gives it to you cleanly, with your name on the lease and utilities. I'll be out by the 30th. She types for 2 full minutes, then sends, you're so heartless. I screenshot, then place a neutral dot. Received. That evening, I move the last of my things to Eric's. The CB750 title, the watch, the framed photo of my dad holding that bike when it was new. I wipe down the counters and leave 2 trash bags tied. Because respect is also a record. The apartment, hers to claim, hers to carry. Responsibility isn't a mood. It's a bill with a due date. At 8:15 p.m. Sunday, I watch from the cafe window as they clatter up the stoop. Ashley in the navy wrap dress I gave her for our 2-year. Tyler in a denim jacket holding her hand like a handler guiding a celebrity through flashbulbs. She tries her key. It refuses the cylinder with a dull, final no. She rattles, then pounds. Tyler's laugh curdles into a whisper. Try mine. He produces nothing. Their faces go from confident to concerned in 3 turns of the handle. I cross the street, coffee lid squeaking. Evening. Ashley spins, mascara sure, chin set. The lock is broken. She says it like a code phrase that should unlock me. Cylinder was replaced today by management. I say, holding up the stamped receipt copy. Standard security before a lease transfer. You'll have access after you apply and are accepted. I keep my tone neutral the way a level reads. Tyler squeezes her hand. We just need to grab a few things for the girls. He says girls like a spell. About the girls. I open my phone, rotate the screen to face him, his 2312 text about candles and lingerie. Then his couch story, our throw blanket in frame, the geotag bright as a siren. Finally, a cropped image. The watch reflection in Ashley's wine glass. This is you, I say. In my living room. On a girls-only night. He goes grayscale. Oh my God. Ashley hisses at him. You idiot. She flaps a hand, as if waving away smoke. He's gay, Mark. I shrug. Your circle disagrees. I tap to the Queens on brunch thread. Her group chat still signed in on the iPad she left on the media console. I had opened, screen recorded, closed. Now I show 2 messages from 5 minutes ago after I dropped the bundle. Tyler's not even gay. I tried to set him up with my brother. Then, Ash, you dragged Liz's boyfriend for less. More dots, more knives. The chorus flips key when the paper changes. Private chat violation. She snaps, snatching at my phone. I step back. Device is mine, I say. The login was yours. I documented what was already broadcast from my address. I look toward the building camera on the soffit and hold still long enough for it to catch the tableau. Me calm. Them gesturing. Evidence prefers light. The stairwell door opens. Mrs. Patel from 5A peers out. Everything okay? She asks, voice careful. He changed the locks on me. Ashley announces. He's trapping me out of my home. Mrs. Patel's eyebrows rise. Is your name on the lease, dear? Ashley's mouth opens, then closes. Mrs. Patel nods once to me and disappears. I'm here to pick up my things. Ashley tries again, recalibrated. Essential items. She counts fingers. My makeup case, my laptop, my cat. She throws in the cat like a lure toward sympathy. The cat is yours, I say. And the laptop. Makeup too. We'll schedule a supervised pickup tomorrow at 10 a.m. with management present. Tonight, there's no entry. I hold up a printed notice. Change of access. Pre-transfer. Date, time, signature, ticket number. You can also bring a third party. I recommend it. Tyler steps forward, working up a brave face. You're being. He flips through the script. Controlling, abusive, petty. Lands on emotionally unavailable. He says it like he's been saving it. I am very available to paperwork, I answer. Less so to gaslighting. I gesture to the bench by the planters. If you'd like, we can sit and outline what you need so the handoff is efficient. Ashley's eyes shine. She calls me heartless. And then finds the word therapy, like a scarf she throws over the scene. You need therapy, Mark. This is punitive. This is pathological. Her voice wobbles on the last vowel. Get therapy for the lies. I say, not unkind. Also, next time, check glass reflections. I don't raise my voice. I let the dull traffic hum do the punctuation. She dials someone, mom probably. She stage whispers about housing insecurity, about safety. I point to the camera again and to the notice I've already emailed to management and BCC'd to her parents. Supervised access, tomorrow at 10, with a second slot at 3 if needed. I copy the policy onto paper because Wi-Fi drops and tears smear, but toner holds. Her phone buzzes. Group chat updates cascading. Girl, this is messy. You owe him rent if you stay. The candle texts? Then, be an adult and apply. From someone named Kira. The mirror they loved turns harsh. Tyler tries one last move. We'll call the police. He sets his jaw like he's watched enough procedurals to believe it. We'll say you stole her property. I nod. Call? I say. Bring them here. I'll show them the lease, the locksmith receipt, the transfer form, the inventory video, and the schedule for pickup. I'll also show them your texts and the HOA guest policy you violated last night. I keep breathing slow. He doesn't call. There's a long, thin silence. I hold the building's fob up, my fob, and then slide it into my pocket. 10 a.m., I repeat. Front desk will have the list. You'll sign for what you take. Anything disputed stays until management decides. I look to Ashley. You wanted space. You have it. Use it. She wipes under one eye carefully to save the liner. You're embarrassing yourself, she says, voice smaller. Everyone will know you're like this. She gestures at the door, the cameras, the civility. I prefer people know I read. I say. Leases. Policies. Clocks. I step past them, key the front door, and go inside. The new lock turns with 2 clean clicks. Period. Not exclamation. In the mirror by the mailboxes, I see them standing on the stoop. The dress I picked out meeting the night air. The denim jacket trying to be armor. I take the stairs, not the elevator, and count them as I go. 12 up to the landing because numbers make more sense than promises. Inside, I set the printed schedule on the console, place a pen on top, and let the building be quiet. By Monday morning, their queens on brunch chat had migrated through the 5 stages like a weather system across a map. Shock. Wait, what? Anger. Block him. Detective work. That watches Tyler's. Witness statements. I saw him at 5 Friday. Verdicts. Apply for the lease or bounce. The sidebar gossip supplied footnotes. Jenna posted a screenshot of a $280 Venmo to Ashley from last week. Memo mom's tests. Under it, a selfie from brunch with Ashley's mom, grinning over mimosas. Caption. Tests? I'm fine. Babe face with tears of joy. Someone else circled Tyler's story where he wrote, treating my girl, over 5 Lux bonus gift bags that matched the ones Ashley paraded as sponsored on my coffee table. The chorus tuned itself without me conducting. At 13:12, management emailed. Ashley had not submitted an application. At 14:03, a second notice. She booked a 1,600 hours escorted entry slot for item retrieval. 2 movers on the list, plus her sister Kelly. I printed both emails and tucked them under the clipboard on the console. I set the rules as a 3-point sheet taped at eye level near the door. 1. Pickup is limited to pre-packed, labeled boxes. 2. Bedroom stays closed. 3. Disputed items remain until management decides. Signatures required on release. I placed a Sharpie and a stack of taken by Ashley. Date time labels on the table beside bottled water. I am not a monster. I am an index. 15:58, the elevator chimed. Ashley stepped out first in leggings, crewneck, hair high. Kelly followed in litigation chic. 2 movers in matching gray tees pushed a dolly. Tyler was notably absent. Texted at 15:41, roommate emergency, which I screenshotted and filed under coincidence. Ashley scanned the living room and froze at the sight. 12 bankers' boxes, printed labels. Clothes, books, cosmetics, stationery, kitchen, Ashley's, cats, litter plus toys, bath, misc. Even the cursed live, laugh, love poster lay carefully peeled. Rolled in a tube, rubber banded, ready to go. On the couch, her quilt, folded. On the arm, her HDMI dongle taped to a card. Rules are simple, I said, reading off my own paper like a steward reciting exits. Only what's in boxes. Bedroom stays closed. Sign the release at the end. I gestured to the closed bedroom door with a blue painter's tape X across the jamb. Management's rep, Dana, leaned on the console with a neutral smile. The body cam on her lanyard blinked red. If there's a dispute, she added, we list it and table it. Ashley's face went through 2 moods and landed on wounded. I just need my necklace, she said, voice soft. The rose gold one you gave me. I wear it like armor. She touched the hollow of her throat. Please. Kelly folded her arms like she was pinning a file. Denying her jewelry is punitive, she announced to the room, like a record for the minutes. I kept my hands on the clipboard. That necklace is a gift I gave my girlfriend, I said evenly. Who are you to me right now? She said nothing. I waited a beat. The person who lied for months, I answered for both of us. It's listed under disputed. It stays until we finalize status, or I'll mail it to your new address after the lease transfer closes. I wrote rose gold pendant, hold on the line, and drew a small square for later check-off. Kelly inhaled for a speech. We'll sue, she said, as if saying it drafts the complaint. I nodded toward Dana. Service to management, I said. Address is on the lease. Include the screenshots and the HOA notices so the court has context. Dana's polite smile did not change. The movers stared intently at their steel-toed shoes. We got to work. I called out the box names. Ashley initialed each label as it passed the threshold. The movers went in a loop. Elevator, truck, elevator, truck. The cat carrier mewed like a metronome of guilt. I offered the bottled water. The younger mover took it with a grateful nod. Kelly attempted a spot audit. Where's the Dutch oven? And Dana pointed at the label that read kitchen. Ashley's. If it's not there, it wasn't hers, I said. We can add it to the list. Kelly didn't. On one loop back, Ashley lingered on the landing. You gave me security, she whispered, not looking up. He gave me spark. The line had the air of something rehearsed in a bathroom mirror. Great, I said. Let the spark pay for the Wi-Fi. I kept my voice level. Spark tends to fizzle when it meets invoices. At 16:36, we reached the last box. Dana read the bottom clause of the release. By signing, you acknowledge removal of listed items and no claim to remaining undisputed property today. Ashley signed with a flourish that tried to be final. One more thing, she said, eyes shining. The framed print above the bed. That quote is mine. The bedroom stays closed, I replied. That rule protects both of us. I slid a disputed, not removed slip across the console and wrote print, bedroom. When you apply and are accepted, I added, we'll schedule a full walkthrough and you can tag what you think is yours. If you're not accepted, management will coordinate pickup under their inventory. Either way, the list governs. Her phone buzzed. Group chat verdicts still turning. Apply, one said. Own your mess. Another, spark is cheap. Security is rare. She swallowed. As the dolly rolled the last time, Kelly tried again, softer. You don't have to be cruel. I pointed to the Sharpie, the labels, the water bottles lined symmetrically. This is mercy, I said. Cruel would be chaos. We locked up at 16:51. Dana sealed the envelope with the signed release and dropped it in her pouch. Next slot is at 1900 hours if needed, she said. Just reply to the email. Ashley nodded without meeting my eyes. At the elevator, she turned. You really transferred it? Effective the 1st, I said. Congratulations on independence. The doors closed on her reflection, split by the seam. A week later, the landlord emailed the single line that tilts a life. Transfer accepted. Assignee on file. Management attached the new ledger with Ashley M. As the account name, a fresh balance at the top like a header in bold. Power, water, internet, each vendor replied in sequence to my earlier requests, confirming the reassignment dates down to the hour. The building's portal showed my name sliding off the resident list at 001 on the 1st. No confetti, just a quiet system update and a cleaner page. The first bill in her name hit the old shared email she never bothered to log out of. $63.40 for water and trash. Due the 15th, statement PDF attached. I watched it arrive like a train I no longer ride. A second later, she tried to pivot the weight away from herself. Venmo, $54.80. Memo, half the utilities. You used a few more days. Request not payment. I tapped decline. Then I used the tiny arrow to block future requests. Authorized user etiquette. You don't invoice the person who just removed you from their ledger. Tyler attempted a reputation salvage operation. Selfie in natural light. Caption, stepping back to find myself. The internet obliged with context. In under an hour, 3 women stitched stories of him leaning on their elbows at a bar, each version of you up, wearing a different cologne. Someone reposted his candles romantic text with a laugh cry. His comments turned off. He posted a photo of a fern. The fern did not fix it. Ashley's circle split like a board along the grain. Half preached forgiveness. The other half posted spreadsheets of debt. The $280 mom's tests loan Jenna discovered wasn't a medical emergency but a nail appointment and a pair of limited sneakers Tyler surprised her with. Brunch went on pause. The group chat renamed itself Reset. I didn't gloat. I archived the thread and removed the iPad from my devices. I prefer clean exits to victory laps. She moved back in with her parents for a reflective month. Their words, not mine. The feed pivoted to quotes about maturity over photos of latte art. When someone shows you who they are, believe the invoice, one almost said. I let it scroll past. I signed the final transfer paperwork at the management office. 1 signature, 2 initials, a key card handed over with a soft clack on a laminate desk. Then I hauled the last of my gear from Eric's spare room to a small 3rd-floor walk-up off Colfax with a south window and a door that sounds like a door. I set up the Linea Mini on a butcher block cart by that window and plumbed it to a stub in the wall. The first shot ran blonde. The second tiger-striped into a thick, polite crema. I dialed grind, adjusted dose, tamped with the little palm calibrator until timing fell between 28 and 31 seconds. A flat white at 63 degrees Celsius beats any cafe when the milk whirlpools exactly once and settles like satin. I wiped the wand, purged, and felt the kind of quiet that has weight. I bought new bedding. Crisp percale, graphite gray, 2 pillows that don't fight back. I hung my dad's photo with the CB750 in a simple maple frame, centered over the desk by a small level bubble. I lined the drawers of my vintage Stanley with adhesive felt and set each wrench in descending order. The fluke got its own slot. When the world feels unmeasured, you measure the part you can. Her bills kept arriving to that old inbox for a few days until she found the settings. Internet, $79. Gas, $38. Electricity, $112 with a yellow bar chart frowning about unusually high weekend usage. I forwarded nothing. Responsibility is an education you can't teach with speeches. The bill teaches it every time. She texted once from an unknown number. We could have worked on it if you weren't so cold. I let it sit until the blue emphasis dot appeared by itself, meaning she reread her own words for a second hit. Then I replied with one sentence. Warmth isn't the absence of boundaries. I muted the thread and went back to calibrating the machine's PID. Work noticed in the best way. With the apartment circus over, my bids stopped carrying fatigue in the margins. I closed 2 mid-sized projects and got an email from HR about PTO I hadn't used. I took a Friday and rode the CB750 up to Golden, the motor a patient thrum under my knees. At a turnout I snapped a photo. Helmet on the seat, the city tucked small below. I sent it to Eric with the caption, "Peace is louder than people think." He sent back a firefighter emoji and a beer. Occasionally, a friend of hers would try a parting shot on social. He's so transactional. And I'd feel the old urge to explain. Then I'd make a coffee, align the saucer, and let the cup cool until it was right. Not every alarm is yours to answer. Not every invoice is yours to pay. The apartment isn't mine anymore, and that's fine. I upgraded to peace. She upgraded to responsibility. Adulthood showed up in her mailbox with her name on it. Silence showed up in mine, paid in full.